Another deep dive, you guys. It's Div Bhumi time, the land of gods, Himachal Pradesh. We're going to explore how Bhagwati and Bhagwan Parshuram shaped this place. Not just stories and names, but living traditions.
Right. Himachal's got this unique lens, even if you know Hindu mythology broadly. Like, it affects everything, from family stuff to buildings to how they settle arguments.
Okay, so Bhagwati. Our sources say she's not one goddess, right? But a force with many forms. Durga, Kali, Chamunda, Tara. It's almost like Shakti, that divine feminine energy, but with a different look depending on, I don't know, what the situation calls for.
Yeah, that's key to how beliefs work, isn't it? One deity can have many roles. Like, adapting to whatever's needed shows how flexible faith is, how it covers all of life.
And Himachal takes it further. Many local deities are like manifestations of Bhagwati, not just a concept, but affects daily life, huh?
Oh, totally. Think of the Kuldevi thing. It's like a family's own patron saint, but it's Bhagwati, specifically, worshipped for protection, passed down for generations. So your religion isn't just what you believe, it's tied to family history, belonging to this place.
Powerful stuff. And when it comes to like actually seeing this stuff, you gotta talk about the temples. Even I get blown away by Hidimba Devi Temple in Manali, pagoda style, surrounded by cedar forest. Breathtaking.
And the architecture itself tells a story, using that cedar wood, the style that fits the mountains but is also gorgeous. It's religious A&D geographic, faith adapting to its environment.
And don't forget the myth. Hidimba, the demoness, she goes against her brother, marries Bhima from the Mahabharata, adds intrigue. Like, how does a demoness become a goddess?
Great point. It's this idea of transformation.
Right.
Very common in beliefs. Hidimba loved Bhima. Her devotion changed her, so she's revered as a protector. It's more than just good versus evil. Even negative figures can evolve.
Mind blown. Now, we have Himachali Temple in Sarahan. It's one of the 51 Shakti Pithas. Refresh my memory on that concept. It always gets a bit jumbled for me.
It's complex, but basically places where parts of Sakti's body fell after she self-immolated. Each place is tied to a form of Shakti. So Bhimakali in Sarahan, it's this symbol of the goddess's power spread all over.
And the temple mixes Tibetan and Hindu architecture, like a cultural crossroads right there.
Yeah.
Centuries of influence coming together.
Exactly. Each temple is like a little history of the region. Then there's Chamunda Devi Temple in Kangrao, with the legend of her slaying demons Chand and Mund. It makes you think, why so many warrior goddesses here?
Maybe it's the terrain, tough land, mountains, unpredictable weather. You need a strong protector. So she embodies that. The strength and resilience to survive. A
good connection, that the divine reflects human needs, the place itself. And it's not just temples, it's in those amazing festivals too.
You're right. Our sources talk about Kuli Dusera. So unique. It focuses on Bhagwati. No burning Ravana like elsewhere. It's all about her celebration.
It's exactly a major event, but localized, showing the regional beliefs. And then you have Renuka Fair, tied to Parshuram's mother, Naina Devi Fair, Minjar Fair. It's woven into the whole year, not just single events.
You know, it makes you feel like every season, every celebration has deeper meaning. When you understand these figures, I mean.
Exactly. And we're just getting started. Now, let's look at the other half of this duo, Bhagwan Parshuram. Avatar of Vishnu, but also a warrior sage with an axe. A bit of a contrast, don't you think? Definitely makes you think. How does a warrior fit into Himachal, the peaceful place?
Well, that's where it gets interesting. They don't revere Parshuram just because he's violent.
Yep.
It's for upholding dharma, cosmic law.
Yep.
You know, his actions, even the fighting, it's seen as needed to protect people, to fight what's wrong.
So not a contradiction, but like a subtle thing. When to act, when to be peaceful. It makes you wonder, right? When do we stand up for what's right versus being calm? Parshuram's story, it becomes like a way to think about that. Dilemmas we face. Exactly. And those dilemmas, they're part of Himachal itself.
Yeah.
Literally. There's the myth of him reclaiming the land from the sea or wilderness. It exists in different forms across India. But in Himachal, it's really strong.
Because it's what people here lived, right? Making a life in the mountains.
Yeah.
Turning wild land into something you can live on. That's a constant fight. Parshuram represents that.
Totally. He's not some distant god.
Yeah.
He's human effort, making a tough environment into a place for civilization. That hits home for Himachal's people.
It's like he's the one who makes the land fertile, even shaping the rivers with his axe. You look at the landscape differently, knowing those stories.
Absolutely, not just geography. It's got myth built in, the energy of this powerful figure. And you feel that in the temples dedicated to him. Like, take the Renuka-ji temple. It's not even for him directly. It's for his mother, Renuka Devi.
Well, that's different. Why his mother? What's the story?
Quite poignant, actually. about duty, devotion, all that. C. Parshuram. As a test, he actually killed his mother because his father told him to. Later, he's full of remorse, begs for her to come back. She's revived. But she's changed, so she becomes one with the earth, turns into Renuka Lake.
Wow, heavy stuff. Not your usual happy myth, it's tragic. Sacrifice and then transformation. The temple becomes more than just, a place to worship. It's remembering her, honoring that whole mother-son thing.
Yeah, it reminds you, even in myths, families are complicated, full of challenges, sacrifice, and wanting to find that balance, And that search for balance, it's in the Renuka Fair too, held at the temple. Thousands go to celebrate that bond.
And it's another example of how these myths are part of life here. Not just stories, but festivals, rituals, gatherings. Real living culture.
Exactly. And speaking of that, there's another fascinating temple, the Parshuram temple in Nirmand, called the Kashi of the Himalayas, where that justice connection is strong.
Okay, now that's interesting. We talked about him as warrior, protector, but justice. Especially Nirmand. It's almost like there's this legal side to him we haven't gotten to yet.
And it's very real for people here. Parshuram is still invoked in disputes. His name means fairness, resolution.
So not just asking the gods to help, but wanting to be ethical, like a code of conduct.
Exactly. And that Nirmand temple becomes central to this. It's where disputes are brought, seeking a resolution based on his principles. Blends the spiritual and the practical. Shows how these old beliefs still matter.
It's almost like a courtroom, but with Parshuram as judge. Hard to imagine that today. But it shows how much they believe in him being fair. Seeing the truth.
Definitely. Reminder that these gods, they're not just figures and stories, they're active in people's lives, guiding them, shaping their communities, and not just disputes. Remember, he's invoked during planting, too.
Right. That agriculture link still gets me. Warrior sage, but farming. How'd that happen?
Think about the land reclaiming myth. In Himachal, where mountain farming is everything, he's seen as the one who made the land fertile, tamed the wild so they could grow food.
So it's recognizing he's part of why they thrive here.
Yeah, it's gratitude, knowing he blesses them so they can be prosperous. They don't just believe, they actively look to these deities for guidance, protection in all parts of life. That's what makes this region so cool. The divine isn't just in temples, it's everywhere.
Amazing how a deep dive on these two, Bhagwati and Parshuram, tells you so much about Himachal. Culture, history, everything. Like some secret world opened up.
And we're just scratching the surface. Lots more to explore, but I think our listeners get the idea. How rich and complex it is. What do you think?
It really is, like peeling back these layers to an amazing story. And I want to know more. So last we left off, it was Parshuram, that justice connection and even farming, which brought us to, the Parshuram temple in Nirmand, Kashi of the Himalayas. What makes this one special of all the places we talked about?
Well, Nirmand itself. It's old. Tucked away in the Kula Valley, amazing scenery. That temple is one of the oldest, most important around. Shows how strong Parshuram's influence still is.
So it's not just the building, it's the whole location. And we talked about how buildings show beliefs. What about this one? Same kind of local style material?
Yep, it's that Kathkuni style. Wood and stone, beautiful, but also it can handle earthquakes. Perfect for this region. But the best part, those wood carvings. Detailed, and they tell stories.
Oh, I love the carvings. Every temple seems to have them. But each one's different. What kind of scenes would you see at Parshuram's temple?
Scenes from his life, of course. Battling bad kings, doing penance, meeting other gods. It's like you're walking through the myth, carved right there on the temple.
They make the stories real, somehow. And since he's so connected to the community, I bet the temple isn't just for, quiet prayer. It's got to be busy, especially during festivals.
You got it. It's a center for everything. Religious stuff, sure. But also where people meet, celebrate, and even, get this, resolving arguments.
Hold up. Arguments. In the temple. Didn't see that coming. How's that even work?
Goes back to Parshuram being all about justice, doing the right thing. In lots of Himachal, they say his name if they need to settle something fairly. Sometimes they bring those disagreements to the temple to try and find a solution that fits Parshuram's principles.
Like a courtroom, but the judge is, divine. So cool how old beliefs are used for real-life problems.
It shows their faith in him, that he's impartial, sees the truth. And it's not just arguments, right? We said he's called upon for planting crops, too.
Oh yeah. Still surprising, that farming link. Why would a warrior be involved with something so, peaceful, ordinary?
Think about that land reclaiming myth again. Up in these mountains, farming's tough. So they see Parshuram as the reason they can farm. He made the land good, tamed it, so they could grow stuff.
So it's acknowledging that he's the reason they're here, that they can make a living.
Exactly. Gratitude. Knowing he provides for them. They're not just asking for help, they're thanking him for like the basis of their life. And that's what's beautiful, you know? Here in Himachal, the divine, it's not separate from everyday stuff. It's part of the land, the buildings, the festivals, even planting a seed. Bhagwati and Parshuram, they're not just stories. They're here, guiding, protecting people.
When you look at it like this, through the myths, it's amazing how much more you understand Himachal. The whole other side of things has opened up.
That's what a deep dive does, right? We go past the surface, the tourist stuff, and we find a world where these old beliefs, they still shape today.
Couldn't say it better. This has been awesome. Exploring Himachal's divine duo makes me realize how much we don't know, how much is hidden under the surface of any culture.
And hopefully your listeners feel that spark too. Maybe they'll want to learn more now, see the world differently, find those hidden meanings. They're out there.
I bet they will. Thanks for coming with us on this journey through the myths, the temples, the traditions of Himachal.